Hello guys, and it won't be an exaggeration to say that Russia is losing control over Crimea. Russia has just lost two very important energy objects on the peninsula. Number one is the largest oil depot in Crimea, in Feodosia, that is still burning after the visit of the Ukrainian drones, and I'm sure it won't stop burning until the last tank of oil explodes. All of that happens in the context of tremendous gasoline shortages, in particular on the temporarily occupied peninsula. Another important object targeted and destroyed by Ukrainian drones is a thermal power plant in Simferopol. It supplied 25% of electricity to the peninsula, and we all know since the annexation and even before that, this beautiful land was turned into a Russian military base. And for decades, the Kremlin was using it for logistics, transportation, supply, and even direct invasion of Ukraine. With the return of Crimea to Ukraine, the collapse of the Kremlin idea to restore the USSR will for sure begin. And here in Ukraine, we believe that Crimea will actually be the first of Ukrainian territories liberated as we continue to defeat Russia. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague, subscribe, I'm sure we'll discuss that on the channel sometime really soon, and please share these videos to spread the truth and protect your loved ones from lies and disinformation. So it was really hot on the peninsula after the visits of Ukrainian drones on the legitimate Ukrainian territory but illegitimate Russian military objects on it. Crimea is extremely important, and those of you who keep asking why do you need it back, maybe Russia can have it, make a very big mistake. Let's begin not with these legal issues that are very important, but more practical ones. Crimea is strategic for the defense of the Black Sea, of Ukraine, and of the Mediterranean area in general from any problems coming from the Russian side. And we all know we cannot trust Russia. And believe me, Bulgaria, Romania, and even Turkey will be way safer and happier if Ukraine controls Crimea just as it should be according to the international law. I do love this comparison of Crimea to Greenland that is also strategic in the north, so we may say that in the south of Europe, Crimea is the same strategic. Russia used it for its Black Sea fleet. We destroyed it with Ukrainian marine drones, with Neptune missiles. They had to relocate to Novorossiysk the leftovers of the Navy, but most of the warships, submarines, cargo ships were destroyed, and that's one of the reasons why Putin actually had to cancel his Navy parade in St. Petersburg this year. He was also afraid of the visits of Ukrainian drones to his most important city. So in Feodosia, the fire destroyed the largest oil depot on the peninsula. It had a lot of oil and they were hiding it, hoping that Ukrainian drones won't reach it, but the Russian air defense failed them again. Actually, Crimea and the temporarily occupied regions of Ukraine are among those suffering from the Great Russian Problem. All over the Russian Federation, they experience serious deficits of fuel that is already known as the largest gasoline ever for a country that was once a gas station, but then made a very wrong decision to invade Ukraine, hoping for a blitzkrieg and actually triggering the collapse of the Russian Federation itself. In Feodosia, this oil depot was huge. It was actually the largest, actively used previously both for the supply of the military and export. Now, because of the gasoline crisis inside Russia, they banned export and they were supplying it to the Russians on the front lines. And again, on the front lines in Ukraine and in Russia, that is a tremendous change in the course of this war that proves Russia can and will be defeated. And subscribe to witness that together. And do like and comment these videos. This is important, not just for YouTube algorithms, but for our community to read each other, to feel each other, to learn more about each other. In Feodosia, there is a big seaport terminal, but now it's empty or it's actually burning. I don't know what's the best way to describe it. A number of gas stations nearby also detonated, but in the general context, it's not that important anymore. To make the whole situation more problematic for the occupants, we also targeted a thermal power plant in Simferopol. Simferopol is the capital of Crimea. It was a very nice and safe city until occupied by the Russian Federation and then surrounded by various military bases. In Simferopol, that thermal power plant supplied from 20 to 25% of all electricity, so it will be a great problem for the Russian army. What you have to remember is that war, unfortunately, like Ukraine does not have a choice, we defend ourselves, but war in general is extremely evil and it consumes a lot of not just weapons and people, but also energy. And invaders, the Kremlin desperately needs oil products, fuel, first of all to sell and to get something into their empty budget, and second to fuel the tanks, the aircraft, and all of that is destroyed. So this gasoline crisis and the strategy to destroy Russian oil refineries and depots is extremely genius, because it does not target any illegal objects, anything connected with civilian infrastructure, as Russians do in Ukraine, unfortunately, breaking all the rules of war. But it paralyzes the war machine. And in Simferopol, the absence of electricity, and in Feodosia, the absence of fuel, it does not let the invaders to solve the problem the way Ukrainians did. Every time they want to organize us blackouts, what do we have? Generators, echo flows. Literally every Ukrainian household already has something to survive. We have lots of power banks. So literally a couple of hours without electricity does not stop life at all. And in many cases, for the work of supermarkets, for the work of banks and hospitals, you need what? Generators, right? All Ukrainian businesses, small and big institutions do have generators. I know a lot of stories where big apartment buildings buy generators, families collect money and buy one generator for all of them, and they solve this problem. They can charge mobile phones, they can heat the rooms, but you need what for the generators to work? Right, fuel. You need gasoline. And in Ukraine we have it, but they don't have it in Russia. In Russia, a country that was the gas station of the world, they have no fuel, and they are prepared to sell raw oil materials to China and to buy expensive fuel from China, totally destroying Russia, Russian economy, and Russian future from within. By the way, lots of the Kremlin oligarchs, lots of the businessmen are super dissatisfied with this situation, because these are their businesses destroyed, these are their gas stations burning, these are their oil refineries erased, and this dependency on China, this does not make them happy. But let's return back to Crimea. It demonstrates a lot of signals that soon Russia will be defeated there. Russians now use actively Kerch Bridge because they cannot supply things using railroads, and they need a lot of fuel, and that's why that Kerch Bridge is an extremely important object to observe. Maybe flamingos will flock there, I don't know. But at the moment, a lot of Russian regions on the front lines, temporarily occupied territories, experience great problems with no water, with no electricity, with no fuel. And that is a proof that Russia is the weakest ever. Now is the time to defeat this evil and to finally bring lasting peace to Eastern Europe, to Central Asia, because apart from Russia and silently occupied by Russia, Belarus, no other former Soviet republic wants back, because what Kremlin brings is mafia, corruption, oligarchies, stealing your resources and giving you nothing. So to live on a safer planet, all we need to do is to remain united, to help Ukraine do the job, to defeat and demilitarize Russia. And I personally believe that Crimea will be the first territory liberated since those were occupied in 2014. Let me know, what do you think? And remember to subscribe and share this news. That's important. Also follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, and Threads. All the links in the description of this video, same as links to our merch shop with a new collection on Halloween and autumn appearing soon. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!